What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football bringing you guys an all-new show. The Red Zone Blitz is still around, still going to be there. It's never going to go away, but this show is called Cover One, and it's going to be me and you guys. I'm playing high safety. You guys are playing defense. We're going to tackle some NFL topics before Sunday, before tomorrow, all the games that are going to happen. And, there's some news going around right now that happened today. We're going to tackle a couple of those topics. Hopefully, we can get a couple of you guys in the FanDuel comment box. But I know it's kind of I kind of started this show without very much. How do you say it? I didn't really put it out there. I didn't really advertise for it for you guys or anything like that. I did just post up on Twitter that I'm going to be live on this new show for Cover One. So. New show, different color scheme, be talking to you guys. First, I think first topic at hand right now that happened today would have to be Paxton Lynch. They've announced that the Broncos will start Paxton Lynch tomorrow against the Falcons over Trevor Simeon, who still is suffering from that shoulder injury, and he's been ruled out for Week 5. Now, going into this game, I felt as if this was probably going to be the hottest game in the entire lineup of games that we're going to watch. It's a hot Atlanta Falcons team coming into Denver, leading the league in offense and in all kinds of categories. Matt Ryan playing out of his mind. And in my opinion, he's the quarter point of the season. He's the MVP. And you've got a guy with Julio Jones who just is coming off a game of 300 yards receiving. So, I think it's one of those scenarios where, it's a Falcons team that's going to come into Denver playing against a very, very good Denver defense. So I think there might be some fireworks there. But on the other side of the ball, Paxton Lynch right now is going to get his first rookie start in his career. And this is also after he threw 170 yards. He did come in for Trevor Simeon last week, threw for 170 yards and a touchdown. So we have to wait and see because, from what we've seen from Trevor Simeon so far, I believe it was against the Bengals where he threw for 4 touchdowns. It was one of those things where I think as a community felt as Trevor Simeon is that guy now for the Denver Broncos. We had Peyton Manning last year. We, passed on Brock Osweiler, but you know what? Trevor Simeon's our guy. He's shown that even though it was that one game against Cincinnati, he shows that he can get it done. And unfortunately, he got hurt with that shoulder injury last week. So it's one of those, tough scenarios, but I think the Broncos are also potentially excited to see that, hey, let's see what our rookie quarterback Paxton Lynch has. In the FanDuel comment box, Super Hippo says, Cam is out. He's got to change his quarterback in one of his fantasy leagues. Cam Newton is also out. I believe, was that announced today? I'd have to check on that. Was that today or yesterday? Either way, it's big news. Cam Newton not playing. I believe Derek Anderson is going to come in there and play for the Carolina Panthers. That's going to be a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to have to pull up the schedule here just to make sure I have a couple of tabs open that I need. But I think I don't think the Panthers are going to suffer too much from missing out on Cam besides the fact that he's a dual threat at the quarterback position. As long as Derek Anderson doesn't turn the ball over, I think the Panthers, the odds of winning that game against the Buccaneers, probably slightly less, but I think they should still be favored against the Bucs. Let me just check here real quick. That's a Monday nighter too in Carolina. So the other thing to take note for that game is Hurricane Matthew and any kind of impact that has or that may have on the weather there. I haven't kept up with the hurricane. I haven't seen where it currently is. It might be off, too far off to the over the Atlantic Ocean at that point, but I don't know. I'd have to watch the weather. I haven't watched the weather in a while. But again, back to Paxton Lynch, the Denver Broncos. I'm kind of excited to see what Paxton Lynch has to offer. scouting him, watching his tape in the offseason, seeing what the hype was about with Paxton Lynch. Personally, I know that we've seen Carson Wentz now play very well for the Eagles, but going into the draft, it was hard to grade and separate, for me at least, Paxton Lynch, Carson Wentz, and Jared Goff, because I felt like they all had different strengths and different weaknesses. I kind of had them bunched up together, and I didn't have anyone in the top 10 prospects in this draft. But we're going to see another one of those guys. But who would have thought? I don't know if I would have thought, but who would have thought that Paxton Lynch would start a game before Jared Goff would? I don't think I would have said that. I think, going into the season, Jared Goff was probably the guy who was going to start week 1, and that just has not happened. Case Keenum has taken the reins there in Los Angeles, and they're 3-1. So it'll be interesting to see what Paxton Lynch brings to the table. As long as, he doesn't make too many mental mistakes, doesn't make too many rookie mistakes, isn't nervous out on the field, it should make for a good game. I think it really should make for a good game. Again, it's a hot Atlanta team. It's a very good undefeated Denver team. So I'm excited for that one. See where that goes. XKT in the FanDuel comment box says, if Paxton plays well enough for the rest of the season and well enough for the Broncos, what can the Broncos get picks-wise for Trevor Simeon? I think that's a good question. But I think you would have to, I would think, put him right below a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. Hypothetically speaking, if Tom Brady does stick around for the Patriots, does Garoppolo stay in New England and say, hey, I'm just going to sit here until Tom Brady, retires? Or does Garoppolo want to take his business elsewhere and say, hey, I want to be that guy for a franchise, and the New England Patriots end up trading him? I think Garoppolo would probably be number one on any team's radar if they wanted to trade for a backup. So I think Trevor Simeon would have to fall definitely below whatever Garoppolo would get. But I could see a higher pick, like a second or third round pick for a Trevor Simeon. Again, this guy, can't even remember. Was he undrafted or was he just a late, like a 7th round guy? I'd have to take a look at that. Trevor Simeon. Let's good old Google. Not Trevor Simon, Google. Come on now. See if I can. You guys, you know what? You guys can help me out with that. But I think, a second, third round pick could fetch Trevor Simeon. But for those who are just tuning in, I'm seeing the audience grow a little bit. And shout out to all you guys. Kevin Oriz, Andrew Kim, Super Hippo, XKT. Trevor Simeon was a 7th round. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, Cover 1 is going to be a show where I'm playing high safety. You guys are my defense. We're gonna tackle some NFL topics. The Red Zone Blitz is alive and well. There's nothing changing with the Red Zone Blitz. We'll be doing that weekly with Ezra and myself. That's more of, I think, a debate show. I think Cover 1 is, if I ever want to sit down, cam up, talk to you guys about everything and anything going around the NFL. That's what we're doing right now. We're doing Cover 1. And I appreciate everyone who's tuning in. Gerver Dillon said, hey, he asked, how about those Raiders? Raiders looking good. Should be a hot game tomorrow against the San Diego Chargers. I think that should probably, again, another high-scoring game potentially. Chargers put up the points. Don't know how to close out games. We'll see if they do that against the Raiders tomorrow. Back to Trevor Simeon. Let me see. I need a second to read some of your guys' questions and comments here. Kevin Orrs asked, who would trade for Trevor Simeon? One team that just jumped out. Well, I was going to say New York Jets with the troubles that they're having with Fitzpatrick, but I can easily see Geno Smith coming in. They're going to take a shot probably on Geno Smith and ride him out. Who would need a quarterback to come in? I think that's a very good question. I would probably still say the Jets. You could probably still put the Jets on that list. Cleveland. Cleveland is a potential team to put on the list with the quarterback depth that they have, which is slim to none right now behind Cody Kessler. So probably between those two teams. Right now, I feel like a lot of the teams' most teams' questions at quarterback are answered right now, or they have answers for it. So probably between those two teams at this moment. Super Hippo says, rank these teams that have the most worry. Panthers, Cardinals, Colts, Chargers, Saints. Well, we just saw the Cardinals win on Thursday Night Football without Carson Palmer on the road. So I might rank them not last. Panthers, Colts, Chargers, Saints. Chargers, they can close out a couple games. They should be fine. Saints, they've got Drew Brees. Panthers, they got Cam Newton. I'm going to say the Colts. And the reason why I say the Colts is because, yeah, they may play in a weaker division. But on that same note, it's really Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. Besides those two guys, that team, me and Ezra hit on this in the Red Zone Blitz on Wednesday. That team really has nothing, and this really starts with management. The management is responsible for drafting players, developing players. They're responsible for the talent that's out on the field. The general manager you have to point the finger at the GM here. Now you have to point. I think is his name Ryan. I think it's Ryan Grigson. We looked him up on Wikipedia. Navy defeats Houston 46-40. Interesting. Ryan Grigson. Yes. He's kind of worked his way up through the Eagles organization, became a GM for the Colts, I believe somewhere around 2012. And I'm going to just come out and say he's done a piss-poor job. Yeah, you give Andrew Luck the contract that he deserves, in my opinion. I think Andrew Luck is a very talented quarterback. But on that same note, you don't have an offensive line. You have an aging Frank Gore at running back. Your defense stinks. And to quote Ezra, I think their roster is probably top 3 worst rosters in the NFL. There's a lot of work to do there. A lot of work to do. And if I was the Colts, and if I was a Colts fan, I'd be concerned. So I don't see the Colts. I could say right now, I don't see the Colts really making the playoffs with the way everything's going right now. And I understand the Jags only have 1 win, but they're a talented team that could contend for that division. The Texans are a talented team that could contend for that division. The Titans, I think, are on the Colts level right now. So to answer Super Hippo's question, that's who I would pick. XKT, Chicago with John Fox. I'm assuming regarding Trevor Simeon. Yeah, Chicago is also a possible destination. Jay Cutler. Question with Jay Cutler is, how long is he going to be in Chicago for? How many years, how many chances is Jay Cutler going to get? He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's hurt. Brian Hoyer's playing right now. Trevor Simeon, possibility, yes. But let me remind you, Trevor Simeon is also a quarterback who, in my opinion, is still unproven. Yes, he had that fantastic game against the Bengals, but 4 games is a very small sample size, so we still have to wait and see. Because if Paxton Lynch plays well enough, Trevor Simeon comes back in a week or two, and Simeon resumes or regains that starting job and plays well throughout the season, Denver might not have a reason to trade Trevor Simeon. It's going to be an interesting game for Paxton Lynch, because it's going to be able to kind of gauge for the organization, John Elway and the organization. They're going to be able to gauge Paxton Lynch and evaluate his confidence as a starter. And if they feel like in the offseason they can address the backup quarterback position, start Paxton Lynch, and trade Simeon, it's possible. But, again, these guys, it's way too early. 4 games for Simeon. That's 3.5 games for Simeon, about a half a game for Lynch. So, that's what I think. That's what I think could potentially happen. Gerver Dillon, David, fantasy question for you: Brice Butler or Golden Tate? I don't know. Okay, I can tell you one thing. Stay away from Golden Tate. He hasn't done much. Let me see Brice Butler here. Let me see what's good with Brice Butler. Brice Butler. What kind of a league are you in that you're starting Brice Butler? Kind of curious about that one. Because I know, Des Bryant is out, but I don't know, man. That's PPR. He had 5 receptions last week against the Niners. Golden Tate hasn't done very much. That's the thing with Golden Tate. I'd almost say maybe Butler. And take a shot, take a chance. It's one of those things where you'll bench a guy because he's kind of a no-name, kind of a third string guy, whatever. You bench him and he gets more points than a guy like DeAndre Hopkins who got 0 points last week. So it's one of those you just don't know. So personally, if it was me, I'm not telling you to do this. I'd almost probably start Brice Butler and say screw it and take a chance because Golden Tate just really hasn't produced so far this year. So quick short break. Reminding you guys on Twitter, Facebook, you guys can follow me. You guys can like the Facebook page. I'm on there every day. I'll get updates on my phone. If you guys say, hey, Dave, fantasy question. Hey, Dave, what do you think about this? Hey, when's the red zone blitz? Anything. When's cover 1? Anything. I got you guys. I'll get a notification. It'll let me know. I'll hit you guys up as soon as I can, which is usually almost right away. And if you just want to talk football or anything, hit me up, man. I'm always on there. Here's the other thing, in cover 1, even though I'm playing, even though I'm a safety, you guys are defense right now, man. You guys are playing defense. XKT helping out a fellow teammate, helping out Gerver Dillon with some fantasy. He's saying you gotta play, Dontrell Inman if he's available. So I like seeing that. He is a Chargers wide receiver. Yes, he is. Let me see. Let me scroll back up. Let's see if you guys have any other questions here. Here's another topic that I found interesting because Colin Kaepernick for the 49ers started the whole national anthem thing, in preseason, and other teams took suit, other players took suit, other sports, everybody. Oh, I'm gonna boycott this, boycott that, and some people were fine and agreed with Colin Kaepernick, and other people totally disagreed and hated him and are using his jersey as a floor mat and all that stuff. But when it comes to playing football, when it comes to watching your team lose, I believe the Niners are now 1-4. And if I'm wrong on that, correct me. But people are chanting for Colin Kaepernick. Hey, you know what? I don't care about the national anthem, even though 3-4 weeks ago you cared. Some people in those stands in Santa Clara, I don't care about the national anthem and Colin Kaepernick. Now I just want to see the 49ers win a football game. Everyone, people are chanting for Colin Kaepernick. Get Blaine Gabbert out of there. We want to see Cap in there. I found that kind of funny, a little ironic. Is about 4 weeks ago, if you said people are going to be chanting Kaepernick's name, some people wouldn't have believed you. It's funny how things change in about a month. You guys are talking more fantasy football down there. Terrence West is now starting for the Ravens now that Justin Forsett is released. I actually picked up Terrence West in one of my leagues. I thought that was probably a solid pickup. I dropped Justin Forsett and picked up Terrence West. I can't tell in the picture XKT, but I don't know if that's a Niners hat or not. So I guess my question for you would be who's your team? Kevin Orrs, do you think Chip Kelly sticks around the NFL? For the statistic that everyone doesn't know about, if you do or if you don't, Chip Kelly in Philadelphia and Chip Kelly, I believe, still in San Francisco, runs the fastest offense in the league. And for those who haven't thought about it, you run the fastest offense in the league, there's going to be times where you are going to run the fastest 3 and outs in the league. If you can't get the first down, that means your defense is going to be out there a lot more often than they should be, a lot longer than they should be if you're running fast, the fastest offense in the league. So I don't see Chip Kelly sticking around for a couple more seasons, man. I really don't. If the Niners don't really go anywhere, and I'm glad we're talking about the Niners because Trent Baalke, the GM, this is reported by CSN Bay Area. There's no question that Trent Baalke, the general manager of the 49ers, is on the hot seat. And I'll read this word for word. This is, again, from CSN Bay Area. Baalke was on the hot seat going into the season. His future is very much in jeopardy after an unwatchable first month of the season. Baalke has been one of the worst drafters in the league over his 6-year tenure, managing 3 full-time starters, which is DeForest Buckner, Eli Harold, and Trent Brown, over the last 2 seasons, and getting nothing from his mid-round injury flyers such as DeAndre Smelter in 2015 and Marcus Lattimore in 2013, which, I mean, aside, I personally would have taken a shot on Marcus Lattimore myself, but the 49ers are going nowhere under Baalke and have negative PR from pregame Colin Kaepernick protests. Assistant GM Tom Gamble is the top in-house candidate to replace Baalke. I like to talk about the circus that tends to travel from team to team. Over the years, it's been in New York with the Jets, Cleveland. I've mentioned Dallas before, maybe San Diego, but the circus right now might be in San Francisco with the 49ers. The team is 1-4. They have question marks at who's going to start at quarterback. I'm personally not a fan of Chip Kelly. GM Trent Baalke, potentially on the hot seat. Players retiring from that team over the last couple of years. Players wanting out, wanting to be traded, being on different teams. I've said this before, but it's funny how 4 or 5 years ago, when they were a dominant force in the NFC, going to NFC championship games, going to that Super Bowl against the Ravens, to see it all crumble, and not crumble over time, but crumble so fast. It's one of those unimaginable things. Again, if you're a 49ers fan, you're thinking, we're going to have a squad for at least the next 5 years, man. Colin Kaepernick at that time playing out of his mind. Our defense is absolutely solid. One of the best linebacking cores in the league with Aldon Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. They had guys on that team ready to play for a long, long time, and it just crumbled. All crumbled. Everybody had their own issue. Patrick Willis retires. Chris Borland retires. Aldon Smith, too many off-the-field issues. Jim Harbaugh, gone to Michigan. Who would have thought, man? You just never know. You never know. And that's why Trent Baalke is also on the hot seat, is because, and one of my philosophies in football when it comes to drafting is, it doesn't matter who's on your roster. You always want to draft for depth. If you don't have enough depth on a roster, when injuries come rolling around, when retiring players come rolling around, you're going to be screwed. Trent Baalke he can't even draft starters, let alone players for depth. So that's why he's on the hot seat. David, rank your top 10 teams right now. All right. Let me take a look at like a power ranking here or something. Just to kind of get an idea, because I usually don't agree with all of the power rankings, but type in ESPN just to see. This should be it, hopefully, right here. Nope, that's definitely not it. All right. One of the teams that comes to mind, a couple teams that come to mind, and I remember seeing ESPN's power rankings, I think, earlier this week, which I thought it was extremely, extremely disrespectful to the Atlanta Falcons. I think they had them around 8. And I was like, well, if the Falcons aren't top 5, there's a problem. They had them at 8. I want to try them. That's what I'm trying to look for so I can see where the heck it is. But you guys might have to give me a second here. Let me see if I can find it. Week 1. Does anybody else not like the ESPN website now, the new setup? I'm not a fan. I don't like it at all. I kind of hate it. Let me see. NFL Power Rankings. ESPN. Come on now. Nope, that's from August. That's from September. Is there no easy way to find this right now? Anyway. Falcons have to be top 5. Steelers laid an egg against the Eagles, but I think they should be considered top 5, top 6. I'm trying to rank these teams, but I need to see. This could be it right here. Yep, this is it. Okay. This is according to ESPN. Let's see if I disagree. All right. Broncos at 1, Seahawks at 2. Steelers at 3, Patriots at 4, Vikings at 5, Packers at 6, Eagles at 7, Falcons at 8, Raiders at 9, Bengals at 10. And looking at some of the teams that fall outside the 10, Cowboys, Giants, Texans, Ravens, Panthers, Rams, Cardinals, Chiefs. Okay. I can't disagree too much. I mean, I think the Broncos won, defending champs, still undefeated, 4-0. Fine. Keep them at 1. I kind of disagree with Seattle at 2. I really, really, really disagree with Seattle at 2. They're a team that got off to a terrible start to the season, especially the first 2 games. Could hardly score points. They have picked it up in the last 2 games, but to have them ranked at 2, I can't see that. I think they should be ranked lower. I think they should be ranked below a team like the Steelers even, or the Patriots. I'd see the Steelers and the Patriots over the Seahawks right now. I'd put the Pittsburgh Steelers at 2, Patriots at 3, the Vikings at 4, the Seahawks at 5. The Packers are 2-1. They had the bye week. The Eagles are 3-0. They had the bye week. So the ESPN puts them at 6 and 7. But I'm going to put the Falcons. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm putting the Falcons at 5. I'm putting the Seahawks at 6. I'll put the Eagles at 7, the Packers at 8, the Raiders at 9, and I'm going to put the Ravens at 10. I have the Bengals at 10. I'm going to put the Ravens at 10. Those are my top 10 teams right now. That's the way I'm going to go with it. Your take on Benny Benwickery release. Hashtag Julio Jones taking grown man jobs out here. Yeah, he definitely is taking grown man jobs. But, what was I doing, man? I think I was walking to my house, about to walk into my house, and I get an update on my phone. I look at my phone. It says Carolina Panthers release cornerback Benny Benwickery. This was yesterday. And the first thought that came to my head is scapegoat. They needed somebody to point the finger. They pointed the finger at Ben Wickery. Get out of here. He's gone. Then I thought about it, and I said, well, I haven't watched all 4 games. I haven't seen if Ben Wickery has struggled or not. Personally, I don't know if he has or if he hasn't, or if it was one bad game. But if most of the decision-making came based off of this one game against Julio Jones, the Carolina Panthers should be ashamed of themselves for putting this man out of a job over one game trying to defend the best receiver in the NFL. And nobody has 300-yard games. It was an anomaly. It was an exception. They should have seen that. They should have moved on. All right, we'll chalk it up. We took an L. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. But for them to release Ben Wickery like that, I'm assuming he covered him. I didn't watch the game. I'm assuming he covered him. So I don't know the full details on and the reasoning why they did what they did, but if they base it off of that game, they might as well release the entire defense. Release the safeties, release the corners, release the linebackers. Kuechly, see you later. That's the message you're sending. That's how I feel about Ben Wickery being released. He'll get picked. I'm sure he'll get picked up by someone soon. Kevin Orris, what's your take on Aaron Rodgers not playing like Aaron Rodgers? Well, first and foremost, I think it stinks. It stinks. It sucks because we're, as a Packer fan base, we're not used to seeing that. But, his last game against the Lions put up 4 touchdowns in the first half. Yeah, he didn't put up any in the second half, fine, whatever. But over that span of that game, threw for 4 touchdowns at Lambeau Field. Looked like Aaron Rodgers to me. It looked like he was there. The Vikings game in week 2, definitely night and day. Did not look like Aaron Rodgers. Looked a little off. But I think 3 games have been played. Last season, he did not look like Aaron Rodgers, but for this season, 3 games have been played, and looking forward, it's take it one game at a time, and we'll see how he does against, I don't even know, we're playing the Giants tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. We'll see how he plays, but one game at a time. It's a new season. So far, I'd say he's, out of the 3 games, he's played 1.5 games like Aaron Rodgers, and 1.5 games not like Aaron Rodgers. So time will tell. Time will tell on A-Rod. Back to Chip Kelly. Kevin Orr says, as an Eagles fan, he says he's going to go with a no. He's regarding Chip Kelly's future with the NFL. He's so arrogant, proud, and obnoxious, and he can't stand the guy. He's glad that he's out of Philly. Juan Pablo Livingston, opinions on the Vikings, are they legit? Are they legit? Yeah, I'd say they're legit. Couple reasons why. Last week, I'm pretty sure I said I was going to give them another week before I was sold on the Vikings, and they're still undefeated. So the reason why, obviously, it starts with their defense. Like they say, defense wins championships, and there was no better example of that with Super Bowl 50, with the Carolina Panthers the Denver Broncos shutting down the Carolina Panthers offense with Von Miller and company. Now, that defense has played top 5 defense so far, top 5 football. So that allows Sam Bradford to stay in games. Now, regarding Sam Bradford taking over for Teddy Bridgewater, I always believed in Sam Bradford as a quarterback, as a talent. His career with the Rams was kind of derailed due to injury. due to the talent that it was around him. They just haven't been playing dumb football. They've been playing smart football. AP goes down. Jerick McKinnon steps in. Had a good week last week. So far so good for the Vikings. So far so good. I'd say they're legit. I want to say that with a little. I want to say it with slight caution, and some of you might get on me for it, but it's because I see them twice a year, at least, living in Wisconsin. We see them twice a year. So I've seen the Vikings over the years, and sometimes, things tend not to go too well for them. So I kind of want to agree with what everyone say. Oh yeah, the Vikings. Yes, their team looks good, but as a Packer fan, it's hard sometimes to not admit it. But you've seen the lack of success that they've had, and for one of these seasons to come along so far, and for them to be successful, it's like, all right, is it legitimate, or do you have to take it with a grain of salt? But that's my opinion, I guess you can say, on the Vikings. Kevin Orr is regarding, I believe, Sam Bradford. What will it take from Bradford to keep the starting job moving forward outside of injury? Well, he can't get injured. He can't get injured, because if he gets injured, Teddy Bridgewater comes back. To me, it's going to say that they're both on an even playing field. Teddy went out due to injury. Sam went out due to injury. Come back in 2017, and you're talking two guys who are on an even playing field and are going to have to compete for their starting job. Now, if Sam Bradford, hypothetically, as crazy as this might sound for me to say it as a Packer fan, if they win the Super Bowl, you're talking, I don't even know if it'd be a quarterback controversy, because if they win the Super Bowl, I think you're going to have to stay with Sam Bradford over Teddy Bridgewater. And now you're sitting with Teddy Bridgewater, the former starting quarterback, sitting on the bench. You might have to trade him. You might have to trade him if Sam Bradford hypothetically leads them and wins a Super Bowl, or even makes a deep playoff run, like an NFC Championship game. Doesn't commit too many turnovers throughout the entire season, not too many mistakes, leads the team, shows that he can be a leader. We might be talking about a different Vikings team next year when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater coming back. Now, regarding Teddy Bridgewater, some are saying his injury that he suffered could still have him out for the beginning of the 2017 season. So, as long as, barring injury for Sam Bradford, as long as he doesn't get hurt, this is Sam Bradford's team right now. But it's definitely, I would say, a very, very, very interesting scenario that the Vikings are in. And don't be surprised if the Vikings are smart. This just came to my mind, because the Eagles were smart. Yes, they acquired Bradford, but they also, it's a funny chain of events, and this is all hypothetical, so stay with me here. Eagles trade their first-round pick, I believe, next season in the Carson Wentz trade. They acquire Carson Wentz. The Eagles trade Sam Bradford to the Vikings and acquire the Vikings' first-round pick. Now they have a first-round pick again, but the Vikings are no longer with a first-round pick. What if Sam Bradford leads the team deep into the playoffs or wins a Super Bowl or whatever? They trade Teddy Bridgewater to get a first-round pick back to a team who needs a quarterback, i.e., I don't know, the Browns or something, the Niners, the Jets, the Bears, whoever, Interesting scenario. Get With It Sports, shout out to Glass. Just had his 29th birthday recently. From Get With It Sports, if you guys haven't checked out Get With It Sports on YouTube, check out Get With It Sports. Where Glass likes to say you get your sports knowledge with a little swag. Vikes defense is a beast, and I love to say Bradford is more accurate and can move the ball up the field better than Bridgewater. Yeah, Bradford so far has definitely, and for me, like I said earlier, even when he was with the Rams, and he showed it late in the season last year with the Eagles. Sam Bradford is not a bad quarterback. He's just had very unfortunate circumstances happen to his career. So the Vikings might have made the right move in acquiring Bradford. They might have made a very smart move. And if they do make a deep playoff run or go to a Super Bowl, their management's going to look like geniuses. The Vikings will trade Bradford for first, second, and a seventh, coming from XKT. We'll see. It depends on the season they have, but I can't imagine one of those two guys. I can't imagine both of those guys being on that roster next season, unless Teddy's still out. At some point, maybe mid-season or whatever, or whenever the trade deadline, before the trade deadline, maybe one of those guys gets traded. Who knows? We don't know. It's going to be it's one of those things that we haven't thought about yet, but it's going to happen. It's going to. You heard it here first on Cover One. It's going to happen. We just don't know when. So keep that in mind. Is there any other big news? Jonathan Cooper, the guard, formerly a top 10 pick, 7th overall pick to the Cardinals, just a couple of drafts ago, I believe it was. No longer on the team, gets traded to the Patriots in the Chandler Jones trade. Patriots cut him after 4 weeks. So Cooper is now without a job. He hasn't played due to injury this season, and it's one of those unfortunate things. You can draft a guy in the top 10, doesn't pan out for you, or you can draft a guy in the 6th, 7th round, and he can turn out like Tom Brady. You just don't know with the draft. That's why scouting is important, crucial. Going into a couple of news and notes, Marcel Darius, Bills defensive tackle, listed as questionable with a hamstring injury, will play on Sunday. He will start in his first game back from his suspension. So that'll be a big addition to the Bills defense there, who keep in mind, have been playing lights out on defense so far without Darius. So that's a definitely big addition for them, sitting at 2-2. What would be the best situation for Josh Gordon? The best situation for Josh Gordon. Not stop smoking weed. That's the best situation. But no, that's a tough question to answer. The only thing I can think of, which I know wouldn't happen, because too many off-the-field issues have already happened, is to go to a team like the Patriots, where Bill Belichick loves to bring in players from other teams, revitalizes that career that they had on a different team that just was going nowhere, and use them in ways that helps teams win football games. In my opinion, the receivers on the Green Bay Packers, the receivers on the New England Patriots, not a top 5 core, not really a top 10. I mean, you got Edelman, Amendola, and if you want to group Gronk into the receiving core, fine. But I list him as a tight end. When I'm talking strictly wide receivers, Amendola, Edelman, Hogan are probably the top 3 guys they have. They don't, in my opinion, they don't have that elite presence there, and they usually haven't. They haven't had that guy since Randy Moss. And, bringing in a guy like Josh Gordon would be, a fantastic, in my opinion, pairing him up with Brady. Fantastic talent there. But I don't think a guy like Bill Belichick would bring in a guy like Josh Gordon. I think too many things have happened for that to happen. So that's the only team that I think, could potentially straighten him out. Going to the Vikings, Chris Carter style, says XKT. Glass from Get With It Sports. Maybe a new environment would be good for Gordon. You can definitely get his top-tier skill set for a bag of peanuts, and that's not exaggerating either at this point. And I know I think the Browns had interest teams had interest in trading for Josh Gordon earlier in the season. The Browns declined, and now before he went into rehab, the Browns found out about it, and they tried to trade him, and teams weren't biting. So sometimes you kind of got to sell the donuts when they're hot. That's what the Browns didn't do, and they're probably kicking themselves for it now because they could have got some draft picks for him. Draft question from XKT. Not a big fan of Chad Kelly. What with his most recent incident of running onto the field at a high school game to fight high schoolers. If you were a GM, would you drop Kelly off of your board? No, I would not drop Kelly off of my board for that incident. I guess you can say here's why. Would I draft Chad Kelly from what I've seen and heard? Talent-wise, sure. But we're not drafting just talent here. We're drafting a guy who I think his emotions get the best of him. And you can't have guys like that you can't have a quarterback like that in the NFL and be successful in the long term. It might win you a couple of games, fine. But I'm not dropping him off of my board, but I'm probably not drafting him. I'll keep him on the board. Might have him below a couple of guys. And if he's there in the 4th, 5th round, which some guys at this point, because you never know, man, draft stock goes up, goes down. If he falls in the draft, next draft, would I take him in like the 4th or 5th round, take a flyer on him? Or would I use that pick on somebody else who, could, it all depends, man. The draft, it's all on needs, best player available. To answer your question straight up, this is all I'm going to say. Would I take him off my board? No, I wouldn't. He saw his brother got cheap shotted. He got PO'd and ran onto the field. And should he have done it? No. Did he hit anyone? No. He didn't fight anyone. I think he probably did it as more of a scare tactic, more than anything else, just to kind of, I'm big and tough and I'm almighty. I'm going to come and yell and scream at you right in your face, and I'm going to get in here because I'm defending my little brother. So, but would I take him off the board? No. Would I draft him? No. Probably, I'd have to watch the tape, first of all. But from what I've seen and heard from Chad Kelly, probably not. Probably wouldn't draft him so far, but opinion might change. Have to watch the tape. Shout out to Glass. Just saw the tweet. The homie Dave on air with his Cover One show on YouTube. Check it out live. Appreciate it. For those who are new or just tuning in, Cover One is going to be my show. Just one-on-one with you guys. I'm playing high safety. You guys are my defense. We're going to tackle a lot of topics that are going around the league. The Red Zone Blitz is going nowhere. It's staying put. You're going to catch us weekly, me and Ezra duking it out, debating all that stuff on the Red Zone Blitz. But whenever I feel like camming up, talking to you guys, when I got some spare time, anything like that, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to jump on cover. We're going to do Cover One, playing high safety. You guys are playing D. And that's what we're going to do. Kevin Orris, is Kirk Cousins good? Everyone's got a different definition of good. Sure, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I would say yes, he's a good quarterback. Not elite, not a top 10 guy. I like him. So, yeah, straight up answer your question, yeah, I like Kirk Cousins. He's good. And since this is the first Cover One, I'm thinking this, depending on how I want to run it in the future, I don't know if I want to run it where it's a show where it's going to just be strictly 1 hour or however long I want to be on, whether it's 30, 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and see how I want to run this thing. But shout out to you guys. Thank you so far for tuning in. XKT, I know you've been here for pretty much the entire show. Gerver Dillon, chiming in from time to time. Get With It Sports. Glass from Get With It Sports. Kevin Orrs. So far, I'd say Kevin Orrs and XKT, you guys been the MVPs of the show. Super Hippo 95, Andrew Kim. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it was kind of a show that I just did not announce or anything. You guys are still here helping me, helping the defense come together, stick together as a team. So I appreciate it. And for those who have friends, got nothing going on, hey, check out Cover One. Check out the Red Zone Blitz. Check out Dave from Wake Up It's Football. It'd be a greatly appreciated. I've been here for how many years has it been now on YouTube? 5 years. Been on 5 years. So I'm still here, man. I'm not going nowhere. Still talking football with you guys. So I appreciate it. Let your friends know. Shows on YouTube. Check them out. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Because I'm not going anywhere. And I'll be here on Wednesday nights with Ezra as well. I'm going to retweet that real quick. Any big topics before tomorrow that we want to talk about? Anything else that we haven't talked about? We talked about Paxton Lynch starting for the Broncos. We talked about Cam Newton being out. We talked about Jonathan Cooper. We talked about the Colts being a disaster. Kind of recapping the show right now. Talked about a lot about the Niners. Man, we kind of talked about a lot of things. I'm kind of happy about that. You guys have helped me out. Do game picks. Gerver Dillon says do game picks. We did game picks on the Red Zone Blitz, but you know what? At your requests, why not? I'll do game picks again. I'm going to go to my Yahoo Pick'em League that I'm in with Glass from Get Witted Sports, and I'm going to just read off my picks from there. I picked the Cardinals. Sorry. I picked the Niners to beat the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. That didn't happen. I'm picking the New England Patriots over the Cleveland Browns. Tom Brady comes back. I don't see the Browns really having a chance there. The Eagles over the Detroit Lions. The Lions, in my opinion, have struggled to score points. The Eagles coming off a bye week, 3-0. Rested team. Could be the team there to win. Going Eagles over Lions. Colts over the Bears, playing at home against the banged-up Chicago Bears team. Miami over the Tennessee Titans. They're playing that game in Miami. I think that game might be a stinker. Picking the Vikings at home against the Houston Texans. I see the Vikings continue to roll. The Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the New York Jets. Definitely got to go with the Steelers. The Jets secondary has not looked very good. They're one of the worst secondaries in the league, and I think it's going to be the Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown show this Sunday in that game. I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens over the Washington Redskins. Baltimore Ravens are at home. I'm picking the Denver Broncos at home against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals on the road against the Dallas Cowboys, but I think this is going to be a good game. So if you have it in your area, watch that game. I'm picking the Oakland Raiders over the San Diego Chargers, and the Raiders are playing at home there. Picked a lot of home teams this week, but I think that should also be a good game. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers at home against the Giants, and I'm picking the Carolina Panthers at home against the Buccaneers. So those are my picks right there. David, what is your fantasy team's records? I'm in 2 leagues. I'm in Wake Up It's Football Fantasy Football League with myself and Ezra and 10 of you guys. And in that league, I'm 2-2. And then in my other league with my buddies, I'm 2-2 as well. So I'm kind of 1-4, lost 4 so far. Glass from Get With Sports. What do you think about the LA Rams 3-1 start? Well, I said this on the Red Zone Blitz with Ez. Ez asked me the same question. And he said, are you ready to jump on the bandwagon? I said, you know what? I'm ready to look the other way on the bandwagon because I don't believe in the 3-1 start. We always seem that one team every year, they start out hot. Don't expect them to start out hot. They finish 5-11. They finished 6-10. So I think the Rams is that team right there. I think that they're that team where, they start 3-1, but, what's to say they don't finish 5-11 or 6-10? I'm looking the other way on the bandwagon. Everyone might be jumping on it or whatever. I'm not ready to do that. So, again, I picked the Bills this week to beat them on the road. Marcel Darius comes back. That defense has been playing fantastic, so they get a key addition there. And I'm not a believer in Case Keenum. If you're a believer in Case Keenum, oh man, I was about to say something bad, but don't believe the hype train. I got to update here. Yeah, so Gerver Dillon, yeah, that's for the Wake Up It's Football Fantasy League. I am 2-2 in that one. And yes, you can put your name down for the Wake Up It's Football Fantasy Football League next year. I would have to remember, or you would have to stick around. You'd have to remind me next year when we do it, Ezra and myself. Ezra, man. Ezra's 0-4. Ezra actually has the worst team in that league. Oh, man. I got to get on him for that next Red Zone Blitz. If he loses this week, he said I think like half his team is on a bye. That'd be rough. But yeah, I'll definitely try to keep you in mind. We ran a 12-team league this year. I was only going to do 10, but too many people wanted to jump in the league, so I expanded it to 12. So there should be a good possibility that you get in. And there's also a chance I have to run 2 leagues because of the demand that we had this year. Yeah, XKT, that's a pretty good way to put it. If you're a believer in Case Keenum, you're definitely Jeff Fisher. So I'd say let's leave it at that. But I'm pretty sure I've been on for roughly an hour. So I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. I think I'm going to call it a show, the first ever Cover 1 show on Wake Up It's Football. So expect these whenever I feel like camming up, whenever I feel like jumping on. Expect these at different times. It's not going to be every Saturday. It could be if I decide to, but it could be a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Saturday, and then the Monday. I don't know. But I will announce it on Twitter. Anytime I'm about to jump on, I will announce it on Twitter. So if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. That's the best way to keep up with the Red Zone Blitz. That's the best way to keep up with Cover 1. And that's also the best way to keep up with any of my tweets or any other videos I decide to post to my YouTube as well. So appreciate it, Glass, for tuning in. Appreciate it, XKT, Gerver, Kevin Orris, all you guys. No, there would be no Cover 1 defense without you guys, man. You guys are the other 10 guys on defense. We're playing Cover 1. I'm at safety, so appreciate it. Tune in this Wednesday. Hopefully, me and Ezra should have a Red Zone Blitz. And real quick, Glass says Ezra probably played his fantasy football team like the Jets. Oh man, yeah, his Jets and his fantasy football team are looking pretty similar right now. So it's quite possible. There's a good possibility there. But anyway, thanks for all you guys tuning in. Appreciate it. And catch me on the Red Zone Blitz. I don't know if there's gonna be another Cover 1 in between there or not, but catch me whenever I'm available, and catch me on Twitter and Facebook as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You guys are the real MVPs. I'm out.